You are listening to the audio production of Truth Over Tribe, Pledging Allegiance to the Lamb, Not the Donkey or the Elephant, by Patrick Miller and Keith Simon, published by David C. Cook. This book is read by the authors.
Dedication and Acknowledgements. Truth Over Tribe is dedicated to our church, The Crossing. This audiobook tells our story. You are a shining example of what happens when a community chooses truth over tribe in a culture riven by tribalism. Jesus told us not to hide our light. We did our best not to hide yours. We want to thank our wives, Emily Miller and Christine Simon, first and foremost. You supported us even when choosing the truth of Jesus cost you sleep, reputation, and more than a little anxiety. Without your companionship and prayers, this book and the stories inside of it would have crushed us. Second, we owe a huge debt of gratitude to Annalyn Fraser. She helped us frame each section and read every chapter, offering feedback that made every bit of this book better. Third, we want to thank the pastors and staff of The Crossing. Working alongside you makes the hardest days feel easy. We love being on your team. We also want to thank Don Gates. Writing your first book is daunting, but Don's advice and encouragement made every step of it easier. Likewise, thank you to Michael Covington and the editorial team at David C. Cook. We aren't sure why you took a risk on two unknown first-time authors tackling a challenging topic, but we're glad you did. We hope our partnership produces good fruit in the body of Christ. Lastly, thank you to our podcast family. While we love creating content for 10-minute Bible talks and Truth Over Tribe, we especially love the community and stories you share. Together, we can show the beauty of Jesus to a lost world. Above all else, we want to thank Jesus. He loved us while we were his enemies, and now he calls us to do likewise.
Introduction. Tribalism is wrecking your life. I'll accept a cinnamon roll from the devil. You don't need to be a good person or agree with my politics or check any identity boxes. If you offer me a cinnamon roll, I'll say thanks and enjoy every bite. But not everyone feels the same way. For some, accepting doughy balls of sugary cinnamon goodness from the wrong kind of person is tantamount to compromising your integrity and makes you complicit in things you disagree with. A win-win-win. In the middle of the pandemic, when quarantining was a way of life, Love Coffee, a purveyor of delicious cinnamon rolls, was one of many local businesses in our town struggling to keep their doors open. This was especially sad because they primarily employ people with disabilities. So The Crossing, where I am a pastor, had an idea we hope might be a win-win-win. We'd buy a lot of cinnamon rolls over the course of several months so Love Coffee could stay open and the company's employees could keep their jobs. But where would we send all these cinnamon rolls? How about to people working some of the toughest jobs during the early pandemic? Teachers. Each week we sent the cinnamon rolls to different schools, giving teachers and staff a warm thank you. Love Coffee wins, their employees win, school staffs win. This is the kind of thing The Crossing loves to do because we like to be known by what we're for, not what we're against. And if we break some unfortunately well-earned stereotypes about cantankerous Christians along the way, then even Jesus wins. That's a four-way win. What could possibly go wrong? How cinnamon rolls got canceled. At first, everything went smoothly. Teachers thanked us on social media, and we thanked them right back. Every week, Love Coffee sent an email informing another principal that the treats were on the way. But one week, they received an unusual response. The principal turned down the cinnamon rolls. This is the email he wrote. I know that you all will be treating our staff due to a donation from The Crossing. I do not feel like The Crossing represents the same values we share as a staff here at our school. The Crossing leadership has expressed some homophobic and transphobic views, and that goes against the environment that we are trying to foster here. I understand that Love Inc. and Love Coffee get a lot of support from The Crossing. I was wondering if you could bill our school for the treats tomorrow and use those funds from The Crossing for something else within your organization. The cinnamon rolls got canceled. Welcome to the era of polarization. How would you respond? What do you do when someone accuses you of the modern equivalent of leprosy? What do you do when people say you're not the kind of person they can accept a cinnamon roll from? My first thought was to say, okay, I'll eat your cinnamon rolls myself. When I realized we were sending over 100 rolls, I needed a second thought. Should I report this principal to the district office for misrepresenting our church and lying?
Sample complete. Ready to continue?